Today's guest is Mel, a luxury real estate advisor with Aperture Global Real Estate. She specializes in some of the most spectacular mountain homes across, and I'm going to say this wrong, but I don't care, Idaho and Wyoming. It's like, yeehaw country, right? I'm guessing. We'll find out. She has a really deep knowledge and a passion for luxury living. She's helped many clients buy and sell exceptional properties in some of America's most sought after homes. Mel, welcome to Private Access.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to
Absolute,
see you.
absolute pleasure. And I'm really excited to disappear into your world and hopefully find out some cool stuff about you that we didn't know before that we can learn as we move forward.
I have a real estate team with traditional real estate with LPT, and then I have just started the Mountain West Luxury Living powered by Aperture Global Real Estate for essentially second, third, fourth, fifth homes for people in the luxury ski and alpine areas that we have out here in the Mountain West.
Second, third, or fourth luxury homes. That's incredible. Hold on. Let's go a bit deeper into it. Let's find out a little bit about Mel so people can really understand you and what you can get
Absolutely.
into. So when we started in this journey, and I say the same question to everybody, I don't know a 7-year-old, and you might be different, but I don't know a 7-year-old on the planet that, when asked by their teacher, what do you want to do for a living, said, I want to be a real estate agent, right? I said, most of them, whatever it is, they
Kind of
want to
trip
be rock
into it.
star. Yeah, they want to be something crazy. So what did you want to be? When the younger Mel, what did you want to really be?
For real.
For real, yeah.
I wanted to be a solid gold dancer. Do you remember solid gold dancers?
No,
Oh,
is that an American thing?
I'm aging myself, apparently. I don't know. But that's really what I wanted to be. You'll have to do some research on that offline.
A
But
solid
yeah, it was a
gold
it was a
dancer.
TV show, Solid Gold Dancers.
Okay. And what happened? The reason that you didn't become a solid gold dancer?
Oh, just life in general and all of the things, and my dad saying absolutely not, and all that kind of stuff.
So it was your dad saying no, right?
Yeah, my dad's like, I don't think that's a great career path for you. No, I mean, I grew up in a law enforcement family. And so, I just we were we were just real people, just humble, just down to earth. Um and as I grew up, and you kind of go out on your own, you make your mistakes, try to figure out what it is that you want to do, what you don't want to do, that kind of thing. Started climbing the corporate ladder fairly young, and kind of continued with that. I was working with a company called AMEC, and you've probably heard of them. They're based out of the UK, AMEC Nuclear. And so I was working with them running finances, and ran their financial department. Met my husband at work.
Ooh,
And
one of them relationships.
yeah, it was a scandal.
It was
But yeah,
did he chase you or was it the other way around?
you know what? We didn't even really like each other, so we're still confused how we're in this 20 years later. They put him in my office one day when he came on. He's a fixer, right? So they bring him in when things aren't going great, and he fixes things. That's kind of what he does. He's just Navy nuke and all that kind of thing. But
Uh-huh.
I mean, we didn't, he sat in my office and he kind of annoyed me, and I was young. I was very young, and he's a little bit older than I am. We've got about 17 years between the two of us, age difference. And we still don't know how
So
this
it's 17 years, you're younger or older than him?
younger.
Younger than him by 17 years. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's normal in the UK, I think.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've been married for 20 years, and so now it's just normal. But at first, it was a little bit. but anyway, so we just I had really been focused on my career and my trajectory on the corporate ladder. And then I met my husband, we got married, we had a baby, and those were things that I never thought I would do. And then he was offered a job over at Doonray in Scotland.
Scotland. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, more sheep than people where we lived up in Florida. It was difficult for me. It was like stepping back in time 100 years, literally cobblestone streets, a butcher, a baker,
No.
a candlestick maker, a
There you
fishmonger.
go. There you go.
We lived in a 200-year-old mill house
Oh,
on the
cool.
Horse River. And so we did that, and we had a young baby at the time. He was 4 months old. And so at that point in time, I stepped back from working completely to raise my family, to raise our children.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you become the stay-at-home mum in
Yes.
in a village with like just maybe not many people apart from sheep and a candlestick maker
Uh-huh.
and a bakery.
100%. Yes.
And you were
And
like,
coming from a corporate position, um,
that's a freeze. You must have been like, what the hell?
it
And
was
of
a tough transition.
course, as great as it is to have kids, and everyone that has had them will know it's fantastic. But I'm all about, are you old enough to use the PlayStation yet? Because the minute you are, get on it. I love my kids and I want to bring them up, but I don't want to be wrapped around them 24/7, right? So if you're in the middle of nowhere, right, literally the only
Literally,
conversations you're having are with 2-year-olds, you must have been exploding inside.
it was a tough transaction. I mean, not transaction, sorry, transaction, what
See,
am I?
see,
Tough
transactional. Yeah.
a tough transition. Just coming from a very independent, powerful corporate, um, younger female role, right? I wasn't sure I ever wanted to get married. I wasn't sure I just I'd never I just didn't know. Um, but all of a sudden I found myself in this scenario I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was always very close with my family, and I'm now 9 hours time difference from them. And in Scotland, where we were at, we were so far north that, like in the winter, it would really just like the sun might rise for a little bit at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. and then go back down.
So you was you
So,
was you was you was what the Scottish would call you falling out of the sky.
yeah,
You was that far up.
we were as far north as Juneau, Alaska. And so it was insane. Summertime, it didn't ever get dark. And yes, so adapting to an entire new world, adapting to, for the first time in my life, not supporting myself independently, and counting just on me to, having to put that faith into somebody else, even though he was my husband, that was difficult. And then also I had this baby, and I had no idea what to do with, what to do with the baby. Motherhood, he and we've grown up together. It wasn't something that was natural for me.
Right.
It wasn't. I've enjoyed every single second of it. And as he gets ready to go off to college this year, I just can't believe that we're here. But I grew a lot. Let's put it like that. I was out of my comfort zone.
So yeah, there's a lot to be taken from that, and the fact that you must be pretty good at adapting and dealing with something,
Yes.
because and you was there for a while because you just said during the winter, so there must have been at least two for you to be able to gauge it. So
Yes.
was you in Scotland for a long time?
No, we were there about 3 years.
Okay, that's long
Yeah,
enough.
about
Did you
three
have a
years.
haggis?
No, I had a lot of food shipped in from my mom shipped me a lot of food. uh,
Right.
but yeah, no, I mean, but the seafood where we were at, because we were right on the coast, the Scrabster, and so we had one of our favorite little restaurants was an old ice house, and you would go in and the menu was whatever they caught that day. So
Yeah.
it was pretty amazing. I wish that Mel now, at my age now, was there. Mel at 30 didn't didn't really grasp how
Yeah.
incredible it really was. I just
So,
there's no Starbucks, there's no drive-through, there's
do,
all of those things that you're used to. So
yeah, because I think, as you grow, you do kind of look for a little bit of out of the wayness sometimes, but when you're a kid, you want everything 24/7. You want to wake up and something's about to happen. So what took you through this journey in finance, high flying, going places, looking to be, climbing the ladder to the top and then ruling the world, Mel?
mhm.
What decided that the change would be, oh, you know what? I'm now going to take over real estate in Wyoming. It is Wyoming, right? That's how you say
Yeah,
it, yeah?
Idaho and
Idaho.
Wyoming. I
Idaho,
mean,
Wyoming.
there was a lot between those. There was another kid, and we went back. My husband works in the nuclear industry, so we've been to most nuke sites all over the world, and that kind of stuff. So,
You
couple.
don't glow on, I think, do you?
No, no, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
uh, I'm good. I trust him. But so just kind of following him around. We ended up finally back in the States, and we were in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's where my daughter was born. Um, and my husband had taken a job. He was working with some a nuclear company up in Toronto. And I said, I'm not moving to Toronto. Um, I'm done with the cold. I loved Knoxville. I'm an Arkansas girl, that's where I was born, but I love the South. And so it was just, it was amazing and just right at home. But with him working away for 3 weeks and then be home for a week, and I
No.
had a 4-year-old and a newborn. It was again very difficult. So I was like,
Yeah.
we did it for about 5 years, I guess, and then I was like, okay, we can't do this. All done. And so the opportunity for him to go to work at a national lab out here in Idaho came, and we came here. I didn't know we don't stay places very long. And so I didn't realize that it's been 12 years now. We've been here for 12 years. And this is the place that my kids consider home. And I will be quite honest with you. It was a struggle when we first moved here, just weather wise, because it's cold and it is cold.
Colder in Scotland.
Yeah.
You're joking. There's a place that
No,
takes
I'm
the
not.
Pepsi challenge with
Well,
Scotland.
I don't want to say colder, maybe like a different kind of cold, because in Scotland, God, we're like right on the North Sea, right? So it
Yeah.
seeps into your bones cold. This isn't humidity cold. It's just cold, Like
Okay.
yeah, it's a little chilly. But we got here, and my kids, in school, and I'm, meeting people like I do every, just you have to reacclimate and resettle every time that you move. Um, this where we live right now in Idaho and Idaho Falls, one of the biggest employers here is the Idaho National Lab. So I do help a lot of families, and the reason that I got started into real estate, a couple of reasons. One was because I have relocated so many times, and I always had not great experiences. Now as an agent, I understand what that means, because you don't usually have the very, top of the top agents helping out when you're in a relocation scenario because of
Sure.
money and fees involved and that kind of thing. I still did it though. And I did it because I knew how difficult it is to uproot your life every 2 years, with kids. And it's not moving. I mean, it is moving. It's the house, but it's the everything. It's the doctors, the dentists, the pediatricians, the where am I going to get my hair done? There's so much that goes into a relocation that they don't think about. And so I just found a niche there. I was already meeting with people as they were coming in, and interviewing and that kind of thing. My husband was in senior leadership out there, and so I was like, well, I don't know, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. And it just exploded.
Interesting, right? So it's because of your husband's location brought you in to have an understanding, because you'd moved so many times, about wanting to help other people that are going through this.
Yeah.
So, and that's quite unique, because people usually do things and think, right, how can I make the most money out of every opportunity? And look, fair dues, right? That's what people think, and that's the majority of people. And I was probably one of them people, and that's the
Yeah.
way the world is. But you actually came in with a softer stance.
Yeah.
Your goal was to. You knew that the relocation people you've experienced in the past wasn't really up to par, and you was going to make a way to change that. So, Mel, can you remember back to your first viewing, with that person, and
Oh,
how did that go?
and what's so funny is that my team, not myself, but my team, this couple that moved in, that moved in, are he just got a new. They're with a lab, and so he just got relocated. He's been here for a long time. They had a baby, so it was very similar to what my situation was, and we're actually closing on their home that I sold to them years ago on Friday here.
Wow.
And but I mean, it just is. You just know, and you know how it feels. Um you know how alone you feel, right? Because you got to start over every time. Like every time is completely starting over. You have no friends. You've got so just with everything. And so I think being able to empathize with that, both with especially if it was a married couple, with a stay-at-home parent, just being able to really really identify with them, because sometimes when we're in these situations and we have spouses that move, and this kind of thing, everything's usually centered around them. It's you know what I mean, and the
Yeah,
families
yeah.
are here to support, like all of those kinds of things. And so I think that one of the reasons I was or I am as successful as I am in real estate, is because I have that empathy, because I truly do know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to move to a place, be scared, be alone, cry every single day for a whole year, and then get on with it. But it's difficult. It's difficult for people, and in the nuclear industry, most of the time that people are coming here, they're senior level, so this is not their first rodeo. They know how to buy and sell a house. They know what to expect. It is truly the personal relationship, that goes in behind it.
That's challenging, right? Because, and I've always thought about this when I see people that are going off and they're doing, dealing with work and being away for 2, 3 weeks at a time. When you relocate to somewhere, it's your partner that is left dealing with it all. You're traveling off and still seeing stuff and experiencing different sights and sounds, while the partner is left with the same thing in the middle of nowhere, no friends, having to pick themselves up again.
Yeah,
And that's to be able to do that once is amazing. To do it twice and beyond that, that's
I did
just
13
it's a
times.
bloody yeah.
When we moved here, this was our 13th,
You're what?
and
Sorry, what did you say?
it was our
Thir
13th relocation.
13th restart.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's that. Look, I won't go into it now, but everyone that knows about me and Solly, we do an hour academy, and I can't believe when you were speaking about it because it was making me laugh so much. When we do the academy, we do real estate role play, and it's over a Zoom, and we could have like 10, 20 people on the Zoom. And what I'll do is I'll do like this little final roundup when I say like I've got someone. It's usually a bit. So for example, Mel's going to
Mhm.
play the character. Mel's having to move again. She's currently in Wales, where she's an expert in deep sea diving. And, her boss has told her, please go to this other place. It'll be the last time you move. I'll give you more money than you need to do it. But she's got to come back and tell her husband that. But they're settled now and they thought this was going to be their last journey. And I won't go the bits that go into it because it's different trigger points. But you're that person. So
For
if you listen to this, right, we've actually found a real life version of that. And I'm sure it's not going to end up that way because always during this story we talk about they end up one of them's having an affair with someone in tennis courts and all this kind of thing, and
real.
their relationships actually falls apart at the end.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is that you've survived this for 13 years. You must be, Mel, you must be one of the most robust people I know to be able to do that. And that makes you one of the best, if not definitely into the league of better, but I would say best agents, because we all know that real estate's about relationships. It's not about bricks. Okay. It's about the people behind them. And you have to restart every time,
Yep.
so that clicky group that you're getting frozen out of, and moving forward and all that kind of stuff to bake sales, getting involved with people, all that. But it's again, and then it's a new place again, and a new place again. Congratulations, Mel. Just from
Thank
the bottom of
you.
my heart, congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
you should have a badge that says, fuck you, I've done it. I've done it 13 times. Don't talk to me
Oh,
about your moving 5 times life. Right.
I mean, yeah, it's been a journey. It really has. It has made me such a well-rounded person. My kids as well. Um, and I have been able to, I think, to put those skills to work in what I do on a daily basis. And yeah, so it started off doing that and relocations and that kind of thing. And then as you grow and as your life changes, and we decided we're going to settle. My kids were going to graduate. My son's going to college this year at NAU in Flagstaff. And my daughter starts high school this year. And so we got 4 years, we're staying put, kind of doing this here before we make any other decisions. And it's incredible. It's incredible to have been here the length that we have, because we've been able to establish those relationships that have been difficult. And I don't have my family. You go to these concerts, or and you've got the auditoriums packed with grandparents and aunts and uncles, and it was always just me, and then usually it was my husband on Zoom. And so it was
Bless.
it's been, it's been a ride. But I found something that I'm passionate about. And you're right, I'm very fortunate in the fact that money is always important. Do not get me wrong, like, it is. But I don't, unlike so many other people in our industry, I'm not supporting a family with what I do. I am not making mortgage payments. I don't have that level of responsibility. And so I think it allows me a little bit of grace in what I do. And I'm very, very cognitive of that. And I'm very, very, I'm just very thankful for it. But I do this because I love it. I really do. And some days, as you know, in real estate, you're like, why am I doing this again? But I love it. One of the things because I've been with Keller and Williams and all of that, but when I had the chance to meet Robert Palmer, one of the things that stuck with me was brokerage for life. And so as my life evolves and I get older and my kids get older and you get out of it, all of those kinds of things, I was able to take what I love so much and start almost again. And this is a different set of demographic. It's a different client, but those fears, they're still the same. People still feel the same thing. And it's different, right? Because you're not dealing necessarily with first-time home buyers or that kind of thing. But it doesn't mean that their feelings are
Any less recognized. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And so I live that life now, and I'm fortunate. We have a beautiful vacation home and we do those things. But when this opportunity became available with Aperture, I was like, heck yeah, let's do this. Let's see where it goes.
So you've kind of answered the question I was going to ask next, which is like, why did you join Aperture? And, and what was the reasons, behind it? And it's similar in a lot of the reasons that people have joined is, they may move about, they can go everywhere, but there's also an understanding of that we are a little bit of a collective. We meet every 2 weeks, if not more. We all roughly know each other. So when it comes to referrals, which is important for all of us because we're giving a part of us out, a part of we guarantee this person language, that we know that other person. We've had conversations with them. It isn't like a bigger company where, oh, I've got someone here and you get a number, a 25% referral, and think, oh, I'm going to make some money out of him.
Right.
This is actually now more of a personal journey. And I think Aperture is more of a personal real estate agent because of that journey, because of the people in it. And because of like Michael Valdez and Robert Palmer, and the way that they put it together was to be built like that. So what I knew you was with another brokerage and you was doing stuff, but what pulled you over into Aperture? It was a startup at the time and still very much
Yeah,
is.
I had been with, I joined LPT, and had a team there and that kind of thing. And then I was invited, to look into Aperture and as Aperture agents there's a pretty, strict guideline of things that you have to do in order or meet in order to be qualified. I had been looking at moving into some of these alpine areas in this vein for a few years, but I just hadn't found the right fit. I the We have some amazing, other brokerages that are, direct competition. But the fact of the matter is that everything felt so isolated and you always felt like you were on an island. And that goes a little bit back to how I felt every time that I moved. Right.
Wow.
And so when I started looking at this and I started looking at Aperture and really looking into it, and realizing that it is a collective. And that's what makes us, there's nothing like us. There isn't. And I tell people that, and, they kind of sometimes may roll, but I'm like, seriously, like I can't even explain to you. Every 2 weeks, I'm on the phone with some of the best agents in the world, and having access to learn from those agents and grow. And then just like you said, referrals. I mean, that is, it continues to blow my mind.
It's a massive global referral network, and it's where we go where our clients are. We go and we see them places, or we can connect them to someone in these places straight away. If I've got someone from New York looking over to where you are, I can have you on a Zoom that day with them. And there's relationships that are there that are built because they're relationships that we build, and they are, don't know if it's a word, but I'm going to use it, but they are pass onable. They extend. What we do in Aperture extends beyond Aperture into a space that hasn't yet been discovered, but you're going to be comfortable when you get there. And that's what we've been doing, and that's what everyone here, has been making that part of. So look, so let's come off of that a little bit and go to, because we skipped it, your first viewing then. The first time you had the keys, right?
Yes.
You're turning up, you probably run around, turned all the lights on, or did whatever anyone wants to do. But how did it go? How was that first viewing?
It was I was nervous. And I'm not a nervous person. I don't really get,
No, Mel, no one had you as nervous. You've moved 13 times, and been able to create 13 different relationships with neighbors and
I guess maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're an expert. I'm going to ask you for advice. You're the expert in it, right?
But that's what it was, and it was a family that I had met and got to know over the months online, and via phone and conference calls and that kind of thing. Obviously, this is way pre-COVID, before things got really crazy, but just being able, when they walked in, I know what the fears are. I know it. And so being able to do that gave me confidence. It was just, they were, the time that they were buying, I mean, things were flying pretty quickly. So it was like, just trying to make sure that we got them, situated with something that was going to be was going to fit their family and they could grow into until a time that they needed, another change. Um, it was, but I loved it. I was hooked.
You was in, right? Did you do the first sale? Did you make the deal?
I did. Yeah.
Look at you.
Made the
Yeah.
deal. And this is the same couple I told you were closing on that house that I sold them so many years ago, this Friday. As
I
a
think that's a lovely story as well. I think, definitely share that with the group because that's a complete journey, from your first ever, you know, real
that was
estate
it. They were
trend.
my first. Yeah.
That this is your first, and it's gone all the way 360, and it just gives testament to how fantastic you are as an agent. That someone is willing to remember you and be in contact with you from day one, from your first time of doing it, is still looking up to you as that young girl and saying, "What's happening next?" You
and
know.
and and that's, I mean, that's truly, there's been a time in my career where I worked at more of a transactional type of um uh environment, I guess, right? Where it was not necessarily so much about the people as it was just the volume. Just get them in, get them out, right? And it just, nothing ever felt authentic to me. I'm not going to, if it doesn't feel authentic to me, I'm not going to do it. And so I'm sure that many of my trainers over the years and coaches have hated me because of that, but that's the truth. Like, I'm not, I'm just not going to. I'm, have been lucky enough that I've been able to build something out of the relationships that I have created throughout these years. I get invited to, not I, but my husband and I were invited to birthday parties for kids. We're invited to baptisms. We're invited to Christmas parties. Um, these people are part of my life. And I have hundreds of, of previous clients, but they're all part of my life. I saw one the other day on Facebook, and I sold him a house. I don't even know how long ago it was, but she's pregnant. I was like, oh, send her some flowers and just be like, congratulations, I'm so excited for you. And it's not because I want their business. It's not because I need that listing when they get ready to, to move on. That's truly, for me, that's not what it was about. It's just, they're a great young couple. And I was just, super excited for them.
Yeah, of course. It's like you're not looking to turn your friends into clients, right? Because and I think that's a brilliance that you have in a very um, underlying, soft, real way. That you're not here to list everybody. You're
No.
not going to run around listing everyone, handing your card out, doing that. You're just here, to help if they want to, but also you're just Mel. You're just Mel, and they recognize that. And there is a wonderful softness about that. And obviously, and also, you're worldly. You have had to travel.
100%.
And
Yes.
and there's a lot that actually goes along with that because even if it's a place where you haven't been, you understand the nuances, and you understand the everything from the accents to what people are really like. I always tell everybody that my job is standing in the middle of the Atlantic and having someone shout to me in American and someone shout to me in English and I
Yes.
decipher it for them, because we live in a world where we, on in most speak the same language, but we're so lost in translation that it needs someone to decipher it. And it's really nice to hear that that's what you do. And I think, Mel, and I may be wrong, but I think that's maybe why you do so well, and people like this person from the first time to now is still in
Yeah.
contact with you. So tell us, what was it doesn't have to be like the most amazing, but your biggest standout sale? It could have been someone that was famous that you were shocked when I opened a door. It happened to me. Or it could have been just someone that just was, they really empowered you to move forward. What was the biggest kind of the thing that changed the dial for you in terms of real estate?
It's an interesting question.
They always are.
You're an interesting man, Daniel. Um, I I wouldn't say necessarily. So in the Mountain West out here, we have a lot of people that come out that want their homes out here, and they want a lifestyle and they want to be left alone, right? So if you see Harrison Ford walking around out here, he's not interested in having a conversation with you. Leave him alone.
I would be straight up to him.
I
Let's get in the Falcon. Come
I
on.
know. So maybe not necessarily, something like that. I think that the biggest impact, it was with and it wasn't, and this was back during the relocation days, and it was a family that was coming in, and she was heavily pregnant and had a lot of kids, and just helping her through that. That was probably one of the biggest impacts. On the luxury side of things, I don't know yet. To be seen. TBD.
Yeah, I don't think you've discovered it yet because
I don't think so.
there's so much because you're entering into this world, and it's a crazy world where people are always, I speak to a lot of brokers, and one of the things I've realized at £1 million, everyone wants a list. At
Mhm.
5 million quid, there's not as many people that want to list it. At 25 million, the air is thin. So, it's people are genuinely, and they start off having a fear of money, and
Mhm.
they feel that they're going to mess up with someone else that's rich. And I'm saying rich to make it simple for everyone to
No, I mean
understand, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a different level. It's a
it's at a
different level.
different,
Yeah.
but they're genuinely the same
Yeah.
people. If anything, don't mess it up and you'll have a great client. It's that simple. And that's the same at the other end. I find that at the lower end of the market, it's just a little bit more hectic, and it's less able for you to make it something so impactful. When you come up, you can be impactful, you can make a difference, and you can realize that the world is global. And the thing is now, Mel, that you're probably understanding, and I would like to share with me, that you realize your next deal might not be next door, it might be 5,000 miles away,
Mhm.
because now via Aperture, you're connected into that.
Yep.
So, where are you going to stay in place now? You said for 4 years, but where would you like?
Yeah,
Because you're
but
going to move again, right?
if we did, and I don't know. I mean, it was always the beach was always kind of that, but now I'm a mountain girl now. I mean,
You're a proper mountain. So you like
I'm a
cowboy
proper mountain
hats?
girl now. Yeah, like I love the mountains and the.
Do you go out riding?
Do I ride?
Yeah.
Not well, but I do.
See, do you play golf?
I do play golf, not well, but I
See,
do.
again, I can't stand golf. I'm like, why do people do
Oh,
that? But so you
I'm
go
really good at
along,
driving the cart. Yeah.
you're good at driving the car. I know if you got one of these massive trucks with huge tires, so you can go out in the snow and it all works okay, and you can pick your kids up from the middle of nowhere.
All of it.
And
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? It's
Yeah.
pink cowboy hats and
Yeah.
cool stuff. That's a
Kind of,
world.
but this is what's so funny, right? Because one of the things that we are seeing, and I'm sure Big Sky will attest to this as well, although I'm not exactly sure, but we call it the anti-Aspen. The people aren't interested in the glamorous Mariah Carey Aspen lifestyles. Okay. The people that are coming here, they want to live the real lifestyle, right? They want it. When they come in, I have concierge both in Jackson and in Sun Valley. And so when I have people come in that want to do something, this is an experience for them, right? I mean, we're taking them. Do you want to go skiing? Do you want to go fly fishing? What time, do you want to hike? What is it that you want to do? And we arrange that for them. That's part of what they're looking for. They're looking at the lifestyle here. And so a lot of times I think you'll see lifestyle, especially in Jackson, and you'll see the girls, the influencers standing under the arches with a hat on, and and you're just like, oh Lord. And so but by being able to be authentic and true and get people into situations with other, you know, uh, authentic people, it makes it makes a big difference. Now, the one thing that we are seeing, and this is interesting because I'm doing this in Jackson right now, but the one thing that we are seeing is that, and I hear a lot, you're ruining us. You're ruining our land. You're ruining our, all of the things. And yes, the show Yellowstone, and I'm sure, Martha and the Big Sky group can attest to this as well. People think that's the lifestyle that they're going to have when they come here. And it's very, it's different. It's just very, that's TV. It's just different. And, but you got people that they're coming in here and they want to belong. They do. They care. They want to be part of the community. They're not, may not going to be there year round, but they care. And so one of the things that I've just recently done is there's an incredible 501c3 out of Jackson called the Wonder Institute, and they do some amazing things for their community. And so by getting to know them and see, kind of see what they're doing and being able to partner with them, and then helping to bridge that gap a little bit, because when people come in, they want to be part of the community, but the community is, oh, you're just another, rich person poser from where, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But when they come in and I can make the introductions and lay the groundwork, say, hey, listen, you're going to come in, you're going to be part of this community. What is a better way of being part of our, of the community than partnering with some, or, investing or donating, or you can sponsor a kid that can go to, camps for every camp for $2,000, for the year. It makes a difference. And the other thing that I have found there is that I didn't do it because of that. I did it because of the need, but it's helping that gap a little bit.
What's that foundation?
It's called the Wonder Institute.
The Wonder Institute. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
everyone would check that out, right? Because that seems like a fantastic thing.
He's, they have people that come in that live all over, and like they've got a man there right now that is teaching how to make Japanese furniture. So you're making furniture without. So members of the community, right, can do that. But he also does a K through 12. And he does camps and in all of, you name it, he does it. And it's incredible. And the impact that they have had on the community it's been exceptional. It really has.
Look, it's like everything, right? Things change,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just life. New people come along, and the things that you've had in the past where you've been stuck in the mud and used to things happening this way, they're going to change. They're going to go this way, and it's going to be different. When I'm selling stuff in London, people are always like, oh, it's so noisy all the time. I'm like, you're in London. There's always a crane going up. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, go to Monaco. There's
Yeah.
cranes literally coming out of the sea, right? So it's always going to be like that. But things do change, and the most of the time, because of the people that are coming in and the people that are going to usually exit, things do always change a little bit for the better. Things move forward, people move forward, and especially if they're coming into fantastic places like this where they're actually real, when they're meeting real people like you that can engage with them at that level, it makes a difference. I've been saying this for a long time, and Solly has as well, that the world of mini skirts and penthouses and Instagram is going now. We're moving beyond that, and
Yeah.
I've been on a couple of them shows, but
Yeah.
and but Selling Sunset has kind of had it, and it did a great thing, because it did get a lot of people engaged, but it got a lot of agents looking at a lot of agents, and it's kind of like, what's the next thing that we came into, and I'm looking at with producers about what we're doing next, and it's like things have moved now. People are so looking for real stuff,
They just
buyers
want
and
real.
sellers are looking at that. When you're posting now and you're out there,
Is this something that AI is generated for you? It's okay to
it's,
use AI, but don't, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly what you said. It is okay to
As a
use it,
tool, not as
but
a,
yeah,
yeah.
but don't. I just spoke to John Powell about this on a previous episode about how things are changing and people are using it wrong. And it's people are lip glossed out of their own face. That's what's doing my head
Yeah.
in and making such a difference. And I'm like, dude, what is going on in the world? That there's such a difference. No one can see anyone and see their real self no more. If people spend that time hiding behind their self, the person they wake up with, and they can't get away from that person,
Right.
if
They're all the
they're
time.
hiding from that person, what are they showing the world? Because it isn't really them. And I
Mhm.
think that's the difference. And there's something so powerful, Mel, in your story from, where it started to where you are, that people see that with, you don't need a filter.
Mm.
They just see this and they know it. And I think, that's what's made so many people want to come to you and you list so many properties with them. It's been incredible, right?
It really has. I every day I just there's times that I just can't believe that I get to do this, that this is my life. Like and not my kids and all of the things, but I get to do this. And then being able to, after having worked with different brokerages and all of the things, but then having found my way to LPT, which eventually led me into Aperture. Um it's incredible, and being able to meet people like you, and you know everyone that we have on our team, and it's like you said, if I have somebody that's going to be moving your direction, I didn't pick your name off of the internet like best
Hmm.
agent. You know what I mean? Like, I know him. I've actually
Yeah.
met him. I know him. And he will take care of you. And if he can't take care of you, I know he will get you to somebody that will take care of you. And that's something that this industry doesn't have. We just
It,
don't.
it,
It doesn't
it,
exist.
it doesn't. They've took the people out of it. So listen, there's young Mel, right? You're
Mm.
looking back at your 14, 15, 16-year-old self, okay? And you can give her some information, words of wisdom. It may be some, it may be none. What would you say to your younger self?
I think that the time when I was growing up, and it's maybe not just me, but there's always so much outside pressure. I can't imagine being a kid these days with social media, and in my house when I was growing up, it was 9 o'clock, and that meant no phone calls. You didn't leave the house. Lights, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I had a safe place. And even our kids now, they have a safe place, they have home, but people can still get at them. They can still. And
yeah.
so I think looking back at that girl, one is, just because you think it, you don't have to say it. That's a hard lesson you've learned.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Uh, and but just that, be true to yourself, believe in yourself. There's going to be times where you don't feel the most confident, or you feel like, and I still have moments. I call them imposter moments, when I'm in meetings and that type of thing, sometimes with people, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Mhm.
So trust in yourself and don't care. And this was the big thing, because for my 20s especially, I cared so much about what people thought.
Of course. Yeah.
Thought about me meant everything.
Yeah. It's
That's what meant
crazy.
things to me. How
Yeah.
successful I was, how I looked, who I, just whatever it was. And in the end, and none of it matters.
That's so true. And that's such a great thing to say. And look, we started this off by you talking about, I'm going to have to Google what these dancing gold shoot, what were they? The gold dancing,
Solid gold dancers.
solid
I'm 52.
gold
Let's do this. Come on.
dancers. Right. Solid gold dancers. So look, Mel, it has been an absolute pleasure. And as we do round this up, and we talk about being there, wanting to be one of the solid gold dancers, turning, but being from, a background in law, and a family-in-law, sorry, and then coming into being so successful in the finance world, and coming up your ranks to meeting your husband, who you started off not by liking, and then you grew to like each other. And it's very similar. My wife, 25 years, it's the same, right? She hated me we knew each other from 16, and she couldn't stand me, right?
Okay.
And so there's similar. So you had that going on. To you having to move so many times and finding yourself in Scotland, in the middle of nowhere, in a converted mill, wherever it was, where your
Yeah.
favorite restaurant, it was what was they was going to eat that day is what they caught,
Yeah.
and you was
100%.
dealing with that, bringing your child up for the first time with your mum shipping in food for you to bring you over to where you are now, Wyoming, and I want to say Alabama, but I know it's not Alabama, but but that
Idaho, Wyoming,
Idaho, yeah. So
Utah.
that sort of background and fighting again, just a different type of snow, which I think is like your metaphor, right? It's a different type of thinking, but it's the same thinking.
It is.
It's the same thing's going to happen. And that encourages you into real estate, and that encouraged you to do your first viewing, which led you to meeting a perfect couple with now all these years later. And it's not that many years for you, but all these years later, you're selling them home again and you're just about to complete. That is a fantastic journey. You are a truly successful woman with a lot behind you and so much more in front. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. And if
It's
anyone wants to reach out, and I'm sure if people do want to reach out to Mel, she will always say hi. She'll always pick up an email. She'll always listen to the younger boys and girls out there, and even the older ones that want to get involved in this. Because, like we've just worked out, the one thing that does happen, especially with us, is this company's got a lot of empathy, and that's lacking sometimes.
it's lacking a lot right now.
It's
And so
lacking a lot. So, Mel, look
we're
again.
here. We're here to help people. We really are.
You're a massive pleasure. It's been an absolute joyous occasion for me to come in to now 6 p.m. in London, and you're in Idaho, right? And that's the power of connection. That's the power of us, and that's the power of Aperture. So,
I
guys, girls,
appreciate you.
remember, I should have a piece of paper with this on it, right? But YouTube, Spotify, like, subscribe, do all the bits you should do,
All the things.
all the things, and
All the things.
I'll see you next time for the next episode of Private Access.